Welcome back to Emergency Chaos, where we provide tips and tricks to help you become the best nurse you can be. Today, we're going over the most important clinical skills you, as a new emergency nurse, need to master. So, let's get started. So, the first one is going to be to get them on the monitor and to obtain accurate vital signs. It may seem simple, but this is one of the most important things that you can do. So, when you're getting a new patient, getting a set of vital signs is extremely important, and being able to do it fast and efficiently is very crucial. For example, if a patient comes in with a chief complaint of shortness of breath and they have an increased work of breathing just based on your initial impression, I'm going to prioritize placing them on the SpO2, right? Placing the SpO2 first. If they come in with the chief complaint of chest pain and they're diaphoretic and pale, I might put on the ECG leads first, the cardiac leads first, and then the BP cuff on, and then put the SpO2 on, and then everything else, right? Or if they can might come in with the chief complaint of hypotension, I'm going to put the BP cuff on, and then the rest of the leads and SpO2 to get the rest of the vital signs. But again, doing this efficiently is extremely important for a new nurse. And for example, when you get a new patient, let's say EMS is bringing you a patient and you have to get report at the same time while connecting them because they're a little unstable. This is where new nurses run into trouble because they want to kind of write on their paper, take notes as the report's being done. But no, you have to get in there, get them on the monitor, get a good set of vital signs while they're giving a report, and you're just gonna have to kind of do the multitasking thing, right? Because if your patient's hypotensive, you're going to have to give fluids, so forth, so forth. If your patient's hypoxia, you got to put him on oxygen. If your patient has a funky rhythm that you're seeing on the cardiac monitor immediately, you need to get an EKG fast. But again, getting them on the monitor and obtaining an accurate set of vital signs is a very important skill to be able to do efficiently. Now, for the next thing, it's going to be IV exertion. This is the next very important skill that you're going to need to learn and to master as a new nurse. Why? Because without an IV, you really can't take care of these very critical sick patients, right? Again, if they're hypotensive, we can't give fluids, we can't give vasopressors. If they're a hemorrhagic shock, we can't give blood products, we can't give albumin, we can't give antibiotics. We really can't do anything without having good working IV. If your patient's seizing, we need to give benzos, right? How are we going to have to do that? The best way is for you to do it with an IV, right? So, again, IV insertion is going to be one of those very important skills that you, as a new nurse, need to prioritize. If your preceptor knows or sees that you're struggling with them, they should make a day where you are in the fast track area where all you're doing is practicing IVs, blood draws, IVs, blood draws, IVs. So you get this skill down you just get it down and you're able to do it without thinking about it too much. Some quick tips for this again, make sure that if it's a harder vein or a harder patient because they just don't have any easy visible access, put two tourniquets on nice and tight. Let the arm dangle down so that gravity helps fill everything up. Ask them to squeeze your hand to make a fist. This will kind of help the veins pop out a little more, and give the veins where you're gonna go some love taps, some good taps, right? So if I'm gonna go in the AC, I got two tourniquets on, the arms hanging down. I'm gonna give some taps to the AC and see if I can get that to pop out a little more. Again, IV instruction is going to be one of the most important skills that you're going to have to master. And if you're struggling with it, communicate with your preceptor, or they should at least be noticing, hey, like you are struggling with this, let's get you more practice. When you're in your unit, tell everybody, hey, can I put your IV in for you so that you, again, you get the repetition of putting IVs in because, again, every emergency, an IV is going to be critical. Next is going to be knowing how to defibrillate, how to pace, and how to cardiovert, and knowing how to use overall just the defibrillator. What buttons do you press? What knobs do you need to turn? Because our most critical patients are going to end up needing one of these, right? When they're coming in super sick and they're on the edge of coding, you're going to have to know how to defibrillate, how to cardiovert, how to pace. For example, if your patient comes in an SVT and they're unstable and you're not going to be able to do the adenosine because they're super unstable and you have to cardiovert, you have to know immediately just what knobs to turn and how to just do it. You have to know that if your patient goes into VFib, defibrillation is going to be the most important thing, right? And if your patient's in a heart block, you need to know how to pace. So overall, just reviewing this with your preceptor or watching a couple of videos, or if you're in a preceptorship program for the ER, they should be having classes for you where you can just go and practice all of these skills so that once you hit the floor, you're able to do it without thinking about it too much. But again, learn how to defibrillate, how to pace, and cardiovert. For the next thing is ET2 management. I know that for a new emergency nurse, having an intubated patient can be very stressful because it's so foreign, it looks different. And overall, just during nursing school, you might have not came across it too much. Or if you're coming from a tele floor or a med surg floor or from wherever, you're just not seeing it as often. But you just need to be more confident with them. For example, if your patient starts desatting while they're on while they're being ventilated, you have to be able to know that maybe you need to suction them, or did a connection become undone. Overall, just getting more comfortable. If you have good respiratory therapists asking them questions, just overall becoming more confident with managing patients who are intubated, especially the ET2. Now, for central line and arterial lines, these are going to be the bread and butter for when we have sick patients, right? Central line, so that we can give more fluids, more pressors, more everything without having to worry about obtaining more IV access, right? The important thing, if you're doing a central line above the waist, just make sure that you get a chest X-ray after they place it, because you need to verify the placement, and you have to make sure that they did not accidentally poke a lung and cause a pneumo. So again, just make sure you get a chest X-ray if they did a central line above the waist, so that they um, can give you the okay to use. And for an arterial line, super important when you have patients who are hypotensive and you're on multiple pressors already, because it gives you an accurate blood pressure, and you know exactly real time what the blood pressure is and what to titrate your medications for. And when zeroing an arterial line, there's a lot of knobs you need to turn, a lot of things you need to press. So just practicing, making little notes for yourself when you have this, and doing it with your preceptor is going to be very crucial. Next is going to be placing a Foley. In the ER, you're placing Foleys very consistently. So just overall understanding the basic steps, knowing how to do it, knowing what to do if you're having a hard time, like using a QD, the movement and everything. Another very important skill. Just make sure that you are doing it with your preceptor so that they can help you um, get better at it for the patients that are harder to place a Foley on. Next, and I think it's going to be one of the final ones, is doing a concise assessment. So when patients come in, you need to be able to quickly and be concise in getting information from them. If they're coming in for chest pain, asking all the PQRST questions, asking all the questions that are going to help us like rule out a lot of like the deadly things like STEMIs, and so forth. So being concise with your assessments, and because that saves you time as well. For example, if you're taking a report for multiple patients and you need to see all of them, just going into the room, being concise, asking the right questions, knowing what physical signs to look for, so that you can get in and get out and seek all your patients and prioritize the interventions, the meds, going to radiology is going to be super, super important. And by the way, if you're finding this helpful, I did create a book and a course. They're meant to help you go from novice to proficient. They're packed with everything you need to master just the chaos of the ER. So the links are going to be in the description text or a pinned comment. The book again comes with all the foundational material that you need as a new ER nurse, and the course just takes it further with quizzes, with videos, with real scenarios, with a charting guide, and overall just more practice questions.